This may be the most powerful time in your life, this next minute I have with you. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are sick and tired of being called a racist and you know you're not one? Raise your hand.
Oh, man.
Sick of it.
If I could share with you a strategy how to trump the race card forever, would you be interested?
Yeah.
I have the answer. God gave it to me. If you notice, I don't call myself a conservative. I am one. I don't use the word. I am a Fredrick Douglas Republican. Here's what that means. When I say I'm a Fredrick Douglas Republican, that gives you a glimpse into my political psychic in terms of what I believe in. I believe in the four life empowering values of Fredrick Douglass. Number one, respect for the Constitution, respect for life, believe in limited government, and believe in individual responsibility. A Fredrick Douglass Republican is not a sub-minority group of the GOP. It is not race exclusive, it's race inclusive. It's not about color, it's about values. Anybody can become a Fredrick Douglass Republican if you believe those four life-empowering values. We're not a foundation. There's a group in North Carolina, Tim Johnson has an organization called Fredrick Douglass Foundation. I have a lot of respect for Tim. He's doing a lot of powerful things, but that is different what God has given me. I am a Fredrick Douglass Republican, and God gave me that to inspire people to defend liberty. If you want to know what life is like when there is no liberty, just study the early life of Fredrick Douglass, who was born into slavery. Okay? So, with this Fredrick Douglass Republican model, you can trump the race card. Here's how it works. I don't use the word conservative. I am a Fredrick Douglass Republican. Here's why the word conservative, we have a hard time trumping the race card. The word conservative, don't forget now, back in the 1950s and 60s, it was conservative Democrats who did everything possible to block civil rights legislation. They wrote Jim Crow laws, segregation laws. Republicans, we're using the same word, but we have a different meaning. They wanted to hold dear to the principles of their racist fathers. We want to hold dear to the principles of the founding fathers. So when you say that you're a black conservative, a Tea Party conservative, a conservative Christian, a Reagan conservative, in the mind of black Americans, you might as well say, I'm a black racist, I'm a Tea Party racist, I'm a Christian racist. But I say I am a Fredrick Douglass Republican. It trumps the race card. Fredrick Douglass was the quintessential conservative. Born into slavery, advisor to 5 U.S. presidents, Abraham Lincoln, James Garfield, Rutherford Hayes, Benjamin Harrison, as well as Ulysses S. Grant. A man was born into slavery. He respected the founding fathers. Like my brother mentioned before, he admired the founding fathers. Obama abhors the founding fathers. Douglass respected the Constitution. Obama disgraces the Constitution. Douglass believed the best way to help the poor is to elevate them to become small business owners. President Obama wants to give them entitlements and lock them to a system of slavery, to a slave government. Douglass believed in new wealth creation. President Obama wants wealth redistribution. Fredrick Douglass owned 2 businesses. When he passed away in 1895, he had amassed $300,000 in savings. That's equivalent to $25 million today. So you see when I say I'm a Fredrick Douglass Republican, it trumps the race card. Now, it's powerful when I say it, that's by ethnicity. But it's more powerful when someone that's not a black American says they are Fredrick Douglass Republican, they don't use a racist. So all you saying, I'm standing on what Douglass believed in. The quintessential conservative. So I wrote a book. The book's entitled Fredrick Douglass Republican, the movement to help reunite America's passion for liberty. You can't play a race card on a Fredrick Douglass Republican. He was a victim of racism. He was an Uncle Tom. He escaped from slavery. He helped others to escape from slavery. He was a Republican and a conservative. 2 quotes I want to leave with you, and I'm going to let you go. Douglass said on one occasion, I am a black, dyed-in-the-wool Republican, and I never intend to belong to any other party than the party of freedom and justice. You're trying to put black dye in wool. When you put it there, it's not going to come out. That's what you're saying. So we wrote this book. This book is a conservative action handbook. The purpose of the book is written to help conservatives to create an atmosphere for political dialogue without being accused of racism, without being accused of being an Uncle Tom. How to engage at the local level. That's where we're going to win the battle. We got to trump the race card. This trumps the race card. And I got to give you a quick story, I'm out of here. I attend a predominantly black church in Birmingham, Alabama. In fact, my brother's the pastor of my church. 99.999% black. This particular day, I decided to wear my trademark Fredrick Douglas Republican shirt. They wear their bummer shirts, I'm going to wear my shirt. I walked to the church this particular morning. This is the first time I'm wearing the shirt. It says Fredrick Douglas Republican, and the word Republican is bigger than Douglas's name, so that'll be the first thing to catch your attention. So when I walked in the church, a staunch black American Democrat, NAACP, met me at the door. Smith, you a Republican? No, sir, I am a Fredrick Douglas Republican. He said, he backed up. I can't touch that. That was my opportunity to engage, so I seized the moment. I said, sir, do you respect the Constitution? He said, yes. I said, sir, do you believe life is precious? He said, yes. I said, Mr. Patterson, do you believe that you should keep more of the money that you make in terms of limited government? He said, yes. I said, Mr. Patterson, do you believe the biblical principle that if you don't work, you shouldn't eat? In terms of personal responsibility? He said, yes. I said, Mr. Patterson, you may not be a Republican, but you're a Fredrick Douglas Republican. He said, I didn't know that. My brother told you that this movement, this message, is trumping the race card, and we're having a 90% success rate in the black community because we're coming in, we're not talking condescendingly. And plus, we pique interest because for most folks, a Fredrick Douglas Republican is an oxymoron. They want to know more. So, I want to tell you this. I love you all. We share the same values. It's not about color.
I'm a Fredrick Douglas Republican.
That's right. If you want to know more about this, I'm not here to hawk my book or hawk the shirt. I'm telling you what works. This is the answer Republicans we've been looking for. How to trump the race card. Liberals don't like this message. They can't stand me. It trumps the race card because we have it in Douglas' own words. What he said about the Constitution, the 3-5 clause. You heard about that. Beck's been talking about it. He gave the answer in 1860 what the true message of the 3-5 clause is all about. In his own words. Now, how many of you heard of the Daily Caller? Gina Thomas. I interviewed with her last Friday. Keep your eyes open. The video email that comes out. I'll be on there sometime soon. That'll be coming out soon. Where I'm talking about the book and talking about this Fredrick Douglas Republican methodology. Did an interview with 700 Club last Friday. About 20 minutes interview. It's going to be on there. I don't know when it's coming out, but I'm going to get on Freedom Connector. I'll get on I'll tweeting. I'll start connecting. We got to save this nation because the minority community, that's the lowest hanging fruit. Blacks and Hispanics are more conservative than white folks. That was me, but we have been politically brainwashed, and I shared that in the book how God delivered me. He called me, God said I was a political schizophrenic, the way I was voting. Worshiping one way and voting the other. I know I'm over my time, but God bless you.